not going, don't take it away from someone else who is going that could go.
I want to say Hasbro made it very right because
Yeah.
I registered within 3 minutes of that email coming about the party. Now, the difference between the Hasbro Pulse line and the party was the Pulse line, you got an email out of the blue that said sign up now and you have until Monday to sign up and you'll get your registration on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
The Pulse party said at this time tomorrow you'll get an email. It's first come first serve. So I think a lot more people raced to do that. And I was in the first 3 minutes, like I said, and I was told I got in. And that was great. It was cool. And then a few days later, I got an email that I had to read twice. And it said that they had a system error and let in too many people. And that's something you never want to hear. And as a customer service place, you never want to say. But $100 gift certificate, that's taking it seriously.
It is, and I think that was above and beyond, and that was very nice of them. And honestly, you were kind of bummed you didn't get to go, but you know what? You got $100, and then you bought something for me, so it all worked out.
Yes, it worked out for both of us. I mean, honestly, if somebody had offered me $100 for the ticket to the party, I probably would have sold because we ended up just going out with friends and having a good time. I mean, I didn't know anyone except Daryl who was going to the party, and because
not that you don't want to hang out with Daryl.
No, but the one thing that I was a little, I mean, obviously if they were filled to capacity, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody gets a ticket to an event at Comic-Con, you always want to have the ability of a +1.
Yeah.
A lot of people go to Comic-Con in pairs or in groups. And so the ability, when I thought I had gotten into the party, but Marjorie didn't, I felt guilty because I'd be going to a party and she would not be going to a party.
But I do just fine on my own.
Yes, you would, but I'm just saying that it's always better to.
It is. I mean, because you're the introvert and I'm the extrovert, so it works out. I talk to everybody, and then you're kind of like, oh, okay, I'll talk to people now. You're kind of, it takes you a while.
And the exclusives they had there, Boba Fett original appearance, limit 2 at the Hasbro store, $27 a piece. That price did include sales tax, I believe. The Star Wars early release, I don't think when they printed this, they were even sure what the figure was. I did hear somebody in the Hasbro booth, they were talking to me, say they didn't know the name of the Sith Trooper until just before Comic-Con. Like, they were racing to get the boxes printed for Sith Trooper before Comic-Con. And then the Luke Skywalker Jedi Destiny set, $54, limit 2. And yeah, thanks to the Pulse Pass, I was able to pick those up. The Sith Trooper was the star of the con. I mean, they did have the big display of a lot of Sith Troopers, which, yes, you couldn't have this set now. You couldn't have this set now because of the con limit, but hey, come Triple Force Friday, you can buy as many of these as you want.
But I bet it won't have near as many accessories. I have seen that in the past. What they do is the con version is tricked out with accessories in a really cool box, and then the retail version that you get later on doesn't have the same accessories.
They've never done that with the early release figures, though. They did that with the Thrawn, they did that with some of the others, but the early release figures, they've always had the same level of accessories, too.
Have they?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take your word for it.
And the red, it doesn't photograph very well in Hasbro's booth. But
well, okay, Hasbro's booth is a little bit like a nightclub because there is everything but white lights in there. Purple, green, blue, red, you name it. And then you have all the figures with all the different colors and all the different backdrops. And so it's like trying to take portraits in a nightclub.
It used to be better, and you would complain about Funko, but now Hasbro does hold the prize for worst lighting. And this year, their booth was, I call it a roach motel.
Yeah, there weren't very good entrances and exits. Everything was like, it was almost like they took a star pattern and made a whole bunch of little points, but no one big point of entry or exit. So it's a bunch of little tiny ones, and they had like a stage in the middle. It was facing out, and then of course the display case is all around. So it was often a challenge to get in there, even to get around. It seems smaller this year, or else they've crammed more in it.
They crammed more in it. They had more displays. They had the giant Unicron that they're doing for the HasLab. They had. I didn't see Cookie Monster. Was Cookie Monster there?
Cookie Monster was over at the booth where you buy the figures. He was over there.
Okay. And I saw some of that around there, but what they did was that they made the entrances smaller. And that's the frustrating thing, is it was hard to get in and hard to get out because it was just very narrow bottlenecks to all of this.
Yeah, terribly narrow bottlenecks, and it was just not very good to get anywhere. But, you know, it was also hot in there with all those lights, and then you cram all the people in there. So that's why it looks like a nightclub photo.
But as you mentioned, these guys do come with a ton of accessories. At the breakfast, they had this display of all the different ones. I'm anxious, as always, to see the movie, to see how this stuff gets used, you know, to see how it all plays out, and if it's all even in the movie, or if some of this is early concept stuff that got cut in editing and all of that, which happens. But I gotta say, the photo.
You broke it.
No, I almost called 911.
Yeah, don't call 911. We're going to try something new. We're going to try to give you guys a little live shot of these figures here real quick. And apparently Arnie's going to call 911 and report some sort of action figure emergency.
Yes, I can't get the exclusives.
Hi, I wasn't able to get the retro figures at Target, and I'm really upset about it.
No, don't, no. Cancel.
Don't call 911 again.
I'm trying not to call 911.
Do you know how your phone works?
Yeah, but I'm trying to put it in a tripod that keeps hitting the button that hits the emergency call.
So don't put it there.
Right, I'm adjusting the tripod. Thank you. Sorry for the little delay here as we get this set up. It'll be worth it, I promise.
I don't know, you're selling it a lot. Let's see. The box is really hard to get into. So it's got an outer sleeve, and then it's also got the figure stuck in there. So it's a little bit... This is my opener, so I'm going to have to rip it up, so it's okay a little bit.
Yeah, I like the packaging of this. It is similar to their previous early release figures in that it's in that box that has the same dimensions. It would look good in a display if you did it spine out on a bookshelf, or even if you did it face out on a bookshelf. But they have the trays that hold the accessories under there, and I thought that was a nice way to use the space and to have everything available.
I am going to say, as I'm opening this, though, I do not think that there is a way to open this without destroying the box. So if you think you can open it and then put it back, I don't think you can, because the figure is strapped down to the inner box, and there's a back panel. So here I'm going to try to show you this here real quick. Bear with me just a moment.
Yep, we're good. We will.
Okay. So let me show you what this is like. So you have your inner package here. And where the trays are for the weapons are back there. You see that little thing? So these are the weapons, and they slide in here. But when you open this, hold on just a moment. It's sealed with tape on the ends. And then it's sealed with tape here. There is no way to get that figure out because of these sleeves. There's no back, so you can't slide it out. There are the little rubbery ties that they use, the clear ones, not the twisty ties, which are a little elasticy, but they're all taped down. So you can't get this out, I think, unless you're very careful and just have a lot of patience, which I don't have. So I'm going to have to rip this to get this open, and I'm sorry, Arnie. Oh, he's making a face. He's making a face. Oh, so you don't want me to rip it open. Okay.
Go ahead, rip it open. Go ahead.
What? Okay. Hey, wait. Hold on, guys. You ready? Ready? I don't think... This might be the first time I've ever done this. Oh, there is a little thing here it looks like you could do that. So if you do these little side tabs, it looks like you would be able to maybe do it, but it's going to be a lot of finagling. And again, patience, not something I have a lot of right now. So here's the figure in his little tray. This is the back. See how it's all tied down, and you've got the little rubber things down here. So I can probably cut those off here real quick.
Cut from the back.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can't because, do you want me to cut my fingers?
Would you like me to do the cutting?
No, I'll do it. I'll do the cutting. My fingers are not as important as the action figure.
Do figures heal?
Oh, ouch. I have some super glue, so if I cut myself, we can just glue it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just fingers. Wouldn't be the first time I injured myself with a box knife. Probably not the last either.
I took a scrape off my arm to save a bookshelf because I figured I'd heal and the bookshelf wouldn't.
Was it an IKEA bookshelf? Because we could have just gotten another one.
No, it's an oak.
Oh, okay. I'm going to say the ones we're trying to sell?
Yeah, that's the one.
The ones we're getting rid of?
Yeah. Well,
way to go, Arnie.
It was 20 years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It was PM, pre-Marjorie.
Would you like me to?
No, I can do this. Am I going too slow for you?
Yes, you are.
Oh my gosh.
And more importantly, you're probably going too slow for the listeners.
All right, fine. Here, you can do it. Sorry, everybody. I am just a girl. Oh, and then after you told me to be so careful, here you are ripping it up.
I'm not ripping it up.
Well, those can damage the figure.
But as I look at this figure, I got to say the red on him, given that I saw a lot of Sith Trooper stuff at San Diego, and we're going to have Andrew a little later on reviewing the Sith Trooper Hot Toys, the plastic on this one doesn't overly impress me. It's not the right shade of red.
Let's talk about this. So, here's the figure. Let me get them all. Here, you can do the accessories while I talk about this figure. Okay, so here's the figure. Is it got a stand? I should have brought a figure stand. My problem with it is the type of red plastic used. Now, there's two different ways that Hasbro does red usually. Or I guess there's three different ways. So, you've got this way, which is a red formed plastic, okay? This is my least favorite of the reds because I feel it looks cheap. I think it looks like it's not a $20 figure or however much you paid for it.
Yeah, I mean, at the con, this figure was $32.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the red.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at it, it's a really blah red. It's glossy because it's plastic, but it just doesn't look troopery to me.
Yeah, well, it's not that it looks troopery. It's the red plastic. And I will tell you that the problem with it is that this is the one they use on the Iron Man a lot. And it's the one that they use on the 5 POA, which is a cheaper one. How'd those accessories come in, Arnie?
Well, I'm talking and playing and...
Yeah. Not very sturdy. Stand. Maybe needs a wide stance like a politician. There he goes. How's that? Okay, so my problem with this is it looks cheap, I think. It looks like the same plastic that's on those cheap $4.99 Walmart checkout figures. Did you drop stuff?
No.
I have a feeling that you kind of dropped stuff.
I didn't drop anything.
Okay.
I got the accessories right here.
Okay. Now, the other reds they do a red paint that is often really nice, and then they also do a red wash, which I think...
You know, a wash would go a long way on this figure.
I think that I think I can fix this and make it look really stellar with some paint. But I think maybe because this was rushed to production really quickly, it doesn't have the same richness and depth that the ones we saw, the costume we saw that Lucasfilm had on display. Because a good red, and it looked like the red that this was a good blue red, which has the tones of blue in it. But if you look at the one that is the costume, it's a deep, rich, bluish red, which is what you want. So this can be fixed if you are so inclined to paint. I'm not a fan of the helmet. I'm hoping the helmet looks better like in other figures because this one just is very, I don't know, it's just very blah. It doesn't have much detail. I feel like there should be a lot more detail in there, but there's just not.
Here's the thing is I loved the Praetorian Guards, and they were a brighter shade of red. Now, I admit I complained that their helmets especially looked very plasticky.
Yes.
But I really liked how they ended up coming out, and I thought that the sculpting and everything there was really impressive. And when we get to this figure, the sculpting is good, but to me, it's kind of like a First Order Stormtrooper painted red. Now, I know there's a few little details that are different on here, and if you look, the outfit there has some ribbing to it, but I hope that this character really impresses me in the movie so that I get excited for the figure more than I am right now. Whereas Phasma, when Phasma came out...
Oh my god, you were Phasma nuts, and that so paid off, didn't it?
Well, I'm just saying that Phasma looked so awesome that the moment I saw her, I knew that I had to have collectibles. I even got the hot toy.
Yes, but you won that. You didn't pay for that, so that's okay.
But I would have paid for it.
I understand. On a character that was barely in the movie. Boba Fett. Anyway, not my favorite figure of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. I'm just going to go out there and say it. Not my favorite. Not a big fan of this one. I'm hoping that they correct it and give it a good red that it deserves.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this will be the red.
I feel that this one may have been a little rushed, maybe to get it out there as a last minute.
Well, they knew what the trooper was going to be. They just didn't know the name.
Okay.
And then with the accessories, we've got this gun that has a movable piece. I don't know what it moves for. No gun I've fired has that, but...
To be fair, you haven't really fired a lot of guns.
I fired, a dozen, but...
You're not a gun owner.
No.
So we'll just clarify that, so nobody freak out.
I don't think anyone would care.
Yes. Your wife cares.
I'm trying to look at the photos to see how he holds the leaf blower, because you see his hand is kind of small. And, okay, I think it goes in there. You gotta just kind of fit it. Or this isn't even the leaf blower. This is like a BFG.
Where's the leaf blower?
The leaf blower is...
no, that's a leaf blower.
Oh, yeah, this is the leaf blower.
You can tell who does the yard work.
Does he hold it up here? I'm trying to, again, find that photo I took. All right, it looks like he holds it near here. Like, okay, so this little hole here, you got to put the hand around it. Which is not the easiest thing to do.
It never is.
There we go. There we go. As you see, he is now ready to make sure that whatever new Death Star J.J. Abrams puts in Episode 9 is leaf-free.
Well, he's got some work to do, I guess. Maybe?
But beyond that, there's also this claw weapon. I'm guessing that it might have electricity go between it in the movie. I don't know. But it also is articulated. It opens up. You know what? Now I'm wondering, maybe these accessories won't all be in the regular release, because this was $10 more than the regular release is going to be.
But it's a convention exclusive, and it probably has a nicer box.
Oh, it does have a nicer box and a custom box.
Now, one of our listeners, Eric, posted on the live show, he said that he thinks that their early release Black Series figures mostly had the same accessories as the store releases. Boba Fett had the Carbonite Han. Obi-Wan had the light and sound table that the regular releases didn't. And the Rex launched at HasCon included 2 rifles that didn't come in the regular release.
Right. I'm specifically I understand that. I'm specifically talking about the early preview figures that they did, like the First Order Stormtrooper for Episode 7.
Yeah.
And I believe they did a Jyn Erso for Rogue One. I'm talking about, the early releases Force Friday that they've done, yeah, they intentionally make the special editions, like I mentioned, the Thrawn and things. But for these figures, I can't remember any of the early release figures having that. This little, I don't have him holding this the most intimidating way. There we go. There's sometimes too much articulation.
It looks like he has dropped something on the ground and he's got one of those grabbers and he's going to pick it up. So perhaps he's in like the old Sith Trooper Death Star, the assisted living one, and he's dropped his...
It's way up there! I can't get it!
Does he come with a special life alert also for when he's fallen and he can't get up?
Now he has a sword that will no longer fit in his hand because I distended the fingers a little bit by putting the leaf blower in there.
I hope that's not just a plain sword in the movie and it's not like he does something.
Oh, wait. It's a blaster. It's a sword looking, it's a bayonet.
Okay,
but
sure.
He does hold it now. The handle is big enough, but I had him holding it silly. But you understand why I thought this was a sword.
Yes, it does look a little bit like a sword, but it does have the handle like the gun, so I'll just let you have that one.
Yeah, it's a bayonet. He's gonna
stab you with it after he picks it up off the ground with his grabber.
Then we have the standard blaster, which color coordinated to his outfit, as Star Wars is wont to do.
I bet that his little old man car is definitely color coordinated, and he drives a little red, well, probably a giant red like Lincoln or something.
And he could tuck that up under his arm. I mean, the articulation here is the articulation we've come to expect from any Black Series trooper. And finally, a tiny blaster. Hold me closer, tiny blaster. But it's got a lot of detail to it, if you can see the little holes on the side of the barrel there.
So I have a question. Does he have like a manservant to follow him around with all these accessories? I mean, when he goes to battle, do they have like battle servants? Because there's no way he's carrying all these.
No, I'm imagining that we're going to see a lot of these in the movie, and that they're going to all have different weapons.
Here, come here. You don't have the ankles right.
Yeah, I need to twist the ankle.
Does it have rocker? It does. Nope. Now what's he doing? It's like he's dancing. Jeez.
Saturday Night Sith Trooper. But, yeah, I think it's a...
Help me, I've fallen and I can't get up.
I think it's a fun figure enough, but I didn't stock up on them there because I do feel like this is going to be everywhere come Triple Force Friday.
Here's the thing. This is not the place to troop build with these because you're right. This figure is going to be released. You've got the accessories already, so you can make another diorama.
Yeah, I mean, they look nice in large numbers. That's the thing I can say is when they had them out at the breakfast, it looked a lot better. Also, the white lighting there really helped. But these do appear just more glossy than what we have going here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little more matte for whatever reason. I'm guessing these are just off the shelf, but just a lot of lighting. That was a very bright place to have a breakfast. It was nice. I liked it.
Windows in the morning, a lot of sunlight. Oh, I wasn't ready for that yet.
But just to see the difference of those two there. Then to move on, we had the Luke 3-pack, the bringing forward of what I consider the evolution packs. Remember when they did those evolution packs?
I love those.
Yeah, it made a lot of sense when you had Emperor Palpatine, Darth Sidious, and the Emperor, or you had Little Annie, and then adult Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader. There's especially where they did look different like that, and also the Trooper evolution where you had a clone, and then you had a Episode 3 clone and a Stormtrooper.
No, I love those packs. They were so much fun, and you got 3 figures for a fun price. They usually had a really cool backdrop in them, if you recall. I thought they were super fun.
Now, to take a look at the packaging on this one, it's got this holographic foil, which is similar to the Black Series figures they did for the past celebration, where they had the X-Wing Luke, and then they had the Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. You've got this highly silver, kind of rainbowy effect to it.
Yeah, the packaging's nice. Again, convention exclusives, absolutely love when they do a fun package. I think that makes it more exclusive and worth buying, if that makes sense.
From the front, it's like a silver holographic version of the vintage 3-packs they used to sell. And I do like how they're calling back to that for this vintage collection. And you've got, the differences back then, you get like 3 aliens and things. Here you get Luke in Stormtrooper disguise, Luke X-Wing pilot, and Luke Jedi Knight.
All right, well, I'm going to bust these guys out of their plastic prison. I have so much trouble opening box flaps. I don't know why I lack that skill, but I cannot open box flaps to save my life. Oh,
well, maybe I'll get a whole bunch of boxes for you, and you can just practice.
Oh, I'm sure you have plenty of boxes for me to try this. Okay, now, your call here. I have to cut open that bubble. I'll give you the knife.
I don't think you do. Let me see.
Okay, you go ahead and look and tell me I don't have to cut that bubble.
Oh, to get Luke off, you have to cut the bubble, but you don't have to cut the bubble to get it out of this
Yes, you do.
package.
Yes, you do. That bubble is sealed to the back of that package.
Right, the bubble is, but the package is not sealed in the box. To show people what we're talking about here. The Lukes are clearly attached to the bubble, but this bubble pack will slide out of here. So help me God, I will make it slide out of here.
You're just trying to prove a point?
No,
because I feel like the way you're tugging on it, I don't think it comes out. Arnie, it does. I think you have to cut the bubble. Arnie, I tried so hard not to ding that up for you so you could save the packaging.
Okay. I see how this goes.
How's it go?
Let me have the knife.
So wait, is it like I said?
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
Oh, that was cut already.
Yes, I cut that already. Okay, it doesn't come out the other side either. It's attached to that package. Oh my God, you're going to break it and knock all your equipment off. Arnie? Stop.
All right, you do it. Here's the knife.
Yeah, see? I don't know if you can see it if you look. So what he's looking at here is you see that blue?
Mm-hmm.
It is attached up in the back of that. I don't think that's coming out. I don't think so. No. Well. Nope. And I just kind of messed it up a little.
All right, well, this is the opener anyway.
Actually, it's not bad. You just have to stick it back in. It's fine. Give me the knife. I tried so hard to keep your packaging intact. You know that.
I saw how you opened that Sith Trooper.
Well, it deserved it. This is really awkward to get out. But it looks like... Oh, I see. Okay, you know how I'm no good at tabs?
Are there tabs?
Yes, here it is. It looked like it was there. I think I got it. Ha-ha! Success.
Let me see.
So the tab's at the top. But you still have to cut the bubble.
Yeah, I knew you had to cut the bubble, but I knew that you'd be able to get this out of the main package there.
You just took a woman to figure it out.
So, I'm perfectly okay with that.
I know you are.
Can I see the knife, please?
Yes. See? Preserve the packaging. Look at that. Look how nice that is.
Oh, the camera's off. Okay,
you can't see it.
I'm not showing empty table.
All right. Well, if the camera was on right now, you would be able to see it. And now you just get to hear a lot of packaging noise.
So there we have the 3 figures. Stormtrooper Luke, X-Wing Luke, both with blasters, Jedi Luke, gun, lightsaber.
All right, so let me get these out here. Oh, he popped out. And we do have some good accessories here. Stormtrooper Luke comes with a Stormtrooper helmet that actually fits on his head. Okay, hold on. I'm going to put it in front of the camera just a second. Okay. You have to do that because you put that too far. So here's the helmet. And here's his Stormtrooper gun he stole.
So you see we got quite a bit of articulation in here.
I like that his head the helmet goes on instead of you pop off the head. I hate popping heads off my figures for display because I feel it weakens the joint.
It does, but I always feel like shoving this down will eventually wear the paint.
Oh, absolutely.
And the complaint has often been that when you fit the helmet over, it's too big because it has to be larger than it would to actually go on a head. But here I think they've got it really looking good. I
think this one's tremendous. You're right. That's often the problem is the helmet is too big and it looks like ridiculous. But it looks like an orange on a toothpick, to quote So I Married an Axe Murderer. But no, this is good size. I think it fits. I like that he comes with the Stormtrooper gun.
Now this is the...
Oh! Well, you've broken him. Way to go.
See if I can get the helmet off and leave the head on. There we go. This is the I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you, Luke, in Stormtrooper disguise, not post I just got strangled by a Dianoga in a trash compactor and my hair is wet.
Yeah, no, this is the dry hair Luke in a Stormtrooper outfit. A gun fell.
A lot of detail here on this, and I like the figure considerably. I think they did a great job on the face. You know, the fact that they're bringing the photoreal tech to the 3 3/4 inch line, I think has really added a lot to the sculpts, which were already very good.
Yes, absolutely. I like that Luke figure a lot. That is a really good Luke. Okay, so we've got X-Wing Luke, which is technically, I guess, Bespin Luke in this pack. But with that, not the brown suit one, but the X-Wing when he goes to see Yoda. So Dagobah Luke, but clean? Traveling outfit Luke?
Let me see him. Yeah, I mean, that's just X-Wing Luke.
But it doesn't make sense then, because if this should be an Empire Strikes Back figure.
But it's not, because in the Empire Strikes Back, he had the puffy collar. This could be Return of the Jedi flying from Tatooine. Now, I will say, the Stormtrooper here is a Stormtrooper body we've gotten before, but that head that I like so much is brand new. The X-Wing Luke that you're looking at is a entirely new sculpt. We've got a new X-Wing body. We've got a new Luke head.
Okay, it is the New Hope Luke X-Wing.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't have the puffy collar.
Yeah, so...
on Hoth, they had big neck collars to keep them warm.
But I think it would have made sense to do that, right?
But looking at this new body, the head, again, looks really good. Is it the same head as the other one? Let's see.
No, it's got different hair.
Does?
It's got his Peter Pan haircut. Arnie, that's clearly different hair. It's the haircut he had for some reason in Empire where he looked like what's-her-face from Peter Pan.
That was in the holiday special that he looked like Peter Pan.
No, it was in Empire too. Sandy Duncan, that's her name. That's a different haircut. So apparently Luke went to the barber between the Star and the Battle of Yavin.
Yeah, it seems like he's got a bigger widow's peak in the Stormtrooper outfit than he does in the X-Wing outfit. That's my...
It's not a widow's peak, it's just a deep part.
Yeah, he has a deep part with the Stormtrooper that he doesn't have with the X-Wing.
Maybe he's got helmet hair.
But there is the X-Wing helmet as well.
He also came with some guns.
The chin strap fits very nicely under that helmet, or under the chin there. And the detail on the helmet, no, it's not like the Black Series roleplay helmet, but it does look really good. They got a good orange for this, with the X-Wing outfit orange and all the paint detail right there on his chest plate. When they announced this, I was a little bit underwhelmed because I'm like, 3 Lukes. And it's not like we don't have Luke in these outfits many times over. But I'm really thinking these are definitive versions. Now, the little X-Wing strap here, I don't understand what this is for. Maybe a Air Force pilot during World War II could tell me if you had such bondage gear on during your flight missions and you had a reason that your legs won't bend.
His leg articulation?
Oh, he has articulation, but this little strap is restraining him. You see, the X-Wing outfit that goes down between the legs.
Okay, there's a lot of stuff about A New Hope I've just never questioned because that's how it is in the movie. I've never questioned things. I just thought that's what they had to wear, and it was part of the Star Wars universe.
Well, I didn't question it in the movie because you don't see it that much in the movie. Nobody's standing around like, I can't get this strap on over my leg and drawing attention to it. It's only when I get the action figures that I notice a lot of the details, and I'd never noticed it on X-Wing pilots until Hasbro put it on there. The early figures just had it sculpted and didn't actually have a strap here. But I'm having a lot of trouble getting the knee to bend just because of... Never mind. Oh, wait, yeah, there's the knee articulation is below the strap over here. I'm trying to bend it without breaking it. It's fighting me a little bit. It's a tight joint. I am not able to get that leg to bend. I'm scared of breaking the figure.
Absolutely, I understand that. That's why a lot of times I don't like to force things or force the packaging.
Gotta look and make sure I'm pulling the joint the right way, and I am. Yeah, articulation is limited. Oh, it was going some. I mean, this is standing position. I got it back to that, but I feel like I'm tearing the leg off. The arms are better. And he comes with the blaster that... Wrong blaster.
I just laid them both there. That's you. Okay, so here I looked up the harness. Apparently, it's a ejection seat torso harness. I guess if he ejects into space. I'm not from the Star Wars universe, but that's why in real life they wear some of these harnesses. I guess to attach them to the ejection seat, and it could be just a style choice that they made when they made the movie.
Okay. And he comes with the gun that the Blastech DL-44 I associate with Han with the silver nozzle there. And then our third figure is Jedi Luke from Return of the Jedi.
Okay, this has soft goods cape. Again, I have a love-hate relationship with soft goods. They have to do it just right. I will say this is one of the better ones, as it's got the edges are raw, but they're not frayed. Because a lot of times they're a little frayed, but not like they have been, and it's not that weird satiny stuff.
Yeah, it's not disco outfit.
Yeah, a lot of times it's like this weird brown lame fabric that looks like it's shiny. It's a polyester feel. It's not very good. This doesn't feel like cotton or anything, which was what I imagined the Jedi robes to be, but it's a nice, softer fabric. Now, it still doesn't lay right for his hood to be down. His hood's going to have to be up unless you put, like, some sort of accoutrement on there to tack it down. Like, you could do, like, the two-sided little dots with the Velcro or something.
I feel like I'm flicking my Bic.
Yeah. So if you wanted hood down, you'd have to do like that, and it doesn't look like it comes off either.
I think if you pull it over
Oh,
the
it does
head,
come off. Okay. I couldn't tell if it was like attached to his shoulder.
So no, you can pull it off over the head there and really admire the outfit underneath where they have a couple different shades of black going on. Another good head sculpt. Because he only wore that cloak very briefly in the movie. He wore this outfit for most of the movie.
Yeah, he did. He wore that black outfit. It does look like you can tack down the hood. You're just going to have to do a little
folding.
Yeah, finagling that it looks like it pops down. You just got to get it right. Is it going to go like that after I... Yeah, that doesn't look so bad. It's not great, but, I mean, it's better than it has been. A lot of times they're too pointy to do anything because they put a stitch in the corner. Now, he does come with his green lightsaber.
It looks like he's got his left hand molded for the lightsaber, because 2 for looking. Luke was always a double-handed saber fighter anyway, which I'm pretty sure this figure would be able to do with its articulation. Vader was always the one-handed, more of a fencer. But yeah, we got the lightsaber. I've come to expect this. I take it for granted that the hilts have the nice detail where you've got the copper here that's on the hero lightsaber from the close-up. The blade, pretty sure not removable. Nope. Not removable blade. And then he also comes with the blaster that he stole from one of the skiff guards early in the movie. Which I'm sure goes in this hand, and I'm just having a little trouble. First of all, my angle is not ideal, but... There we go. You can see the blaster there, and... No. 3 decent figures in a very nice set, and...
Yeah, no, I think it's a really, really nice set.
For a set that I wasn't excited for initially, I'm actually really pleased with these figures.
No, we have 2 more exclusives to go through still.
Yep. The next one, again, available from Hasbro themselves.
I'm going to let you open this guy.
It's the Retro Boba Fett. Let's show off the card a little bit first before I cut it.
Nice foil packaging again.
Yeah, this is just like the Darth Maul and the Obi-Wan we got at Celebration. You've got the foil card. Really, a sturdy card back on this. The background is foil as well. You've got a picture of Boba Fett from The Empire Strikes Back, which, of course, they didn't actually have that photo when this figure came out on the Star Wars card. A bit of a preview figure himself, Kenner, before Empire Strikes Back came out. And it says here, Boba Fett, a fearsome interplanetary bounty hunter, a threat to the Rebel Alliance, especially Han Solo, a new character in Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. And then, of course, the warning label that they must have legally, even though it wasn't on the vintage card. And in the back, it describes why we have this paint job. In 1979, Kenner created a Boba Fett figure based on photos taken of early costume tests before the character appeared on screen in The Empire Strikes Back. The entire line was refreshed in 1980, and Boba Fett's coloring and package art were updated to match the rest of the movie line. The character became a fan favorite. Now Hasbro brings back Kenner-inspired coloring and art with Black Series detailing for a premium figure that embraces the legacy of the Star Wars saga. In other words, it's a mold we had around and we can play on your nostalgia. If I'm interpreting that correctly, that's the Google Translate version of Hasbro's text to real life. Now, I'm not a mint in box 6-inch collector. I decided not to go down that route.
Thank gosh. Oh my gosh.
But on the carded ones, I am going to keep them carded. So I did pick up 2 Boba Fett's, one that I can do this to, and one that I can just keep on the card. And if I can give a shout out to my friend Justin, who has Figure Shield, he brought to the convention some Figure Shield clamshells that protect and perfectly fit this figure.
Yes. So I highly suggest heading over to Figure Shield and getting some of those. They fit it perfectly. It was wonderful, and all my stuff arrived safe.
This is not a paid endorsement.
No.
I just
really I know the owner. He's kind of cool. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
So,
and his cases are... I'm not just a friend of Justin. I'm also a client. So here we have him out of the box, and we get a good look at him with these Kenner-inspired colorings and the yellow arm, the more of a bluish and green body outfit. This is, when I think of Boba Fett, how I think of him, because of having this figure as a kid. Thanks to the camera, people can now see me crinkle instead of just hear me crinkle.
Yeah, it's super exciting, isn't it?
You want to get the guns out?
All right.
Backpack is removable. Obviously, there's a lot of detail on this figure that no Kenner figure ever had. It looks like the outfit has a little bit of a wash to it, you know? Whereas the Kenner figure was a pretty straight-up purple. And with the Mando symbol, removable backpack. Rangefinder does not bend. I couldn't remember if it did on this one or not. But, hey, Boba Fett. There's no mold available. There's not too many paint jobs you can do for him. You can do them in white. You can do them in green. You can do them in the prototype colors. And now we can do them in the Kenner colors.
Well, how about the holiday special colors?
Didn't they do? They did that, yeah.
And I'm sure this was because of, promotion for the Mando kind of thing. Plus, Empire Strikes Back.
40th of Empire. I mean, 40 years ago now is when this figure came out, 1979. It was the lead up to Empire. And then we've got his blaster with the silver here. And his Mandalorian gun. This is kind of lackluster. I mean, again, it's Kenner inspired, so I guess it should not have paint. But if that's the case, why does this blaster have silver? But yeah, this is just a black gun. I thought mine from the old days was kind of a navy, but maybe it was black.
Interesting. I don't know. I think that, honestly, in my opinion, it's a really great figure, but I do think we get a lot of Boba Fett stuff, and I think we're probably going to get a hell of a lot more because of the Mando.
We're going to talk about it before the show is over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a good figure, and, by Saturday morning, you look at the Star Wars Boba Fett original appearance, sold out. Sith Trooper, sold out. Luke Skywalker Jedi Destiny, still in stock. Did it sell out?
I think it might have been available Sunday.
But let's talk about the last exclusive at the con.
And this one is my absolute favorite. I'm not going to lie. This is right down my alley.
The prototype Vaders. And when they were announced at Celebration...
Toy Fair, wasn't it?
Was it Toy Fair? I'm just trying to remember. I was underwhelmed. I'm like, really? This is like Andy Warhol. And I think the thing that we said is this feels like the Funko type of line. This feels like some of that designer, Sucklord, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I like that kind of stuff and you don't. DKE Toys. Yeah. I like that stuff. You're more of a purist. I'm more of an artsy person, and I like the takes on figures.
Yeah, but I remember your initial reaction wasn't overwhelmingly positive
No,
either.
because here's the problem: is the colors kind of just look like they melted down crayons. You know what I mean? Like it's a pure primary yellow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I've kind of like fallen in love with these. And honestly, I'll tell you, because I was so sick at Celebration, anything that I thought at Celebration might not actually be true, because apparently I was in the early stages of pneumonia and influenza. So
I like that they have like the comic book art up here, like they had back with the comic 2-packs. I also like that they're pre-punched. See, we bought a case of these not to own for ourselves, but because we wanted a couple, Justin wanted a couple, Daryl wanted a couple.
well, let's start with what they told us about the figure while I work on getting this guy out of his little package, okay?
All right. First of all, let me. There's been some controversy, just so we can discuss about how many variants there can be, and how. I mean, with this many limbs and this many colors.
Well, what they said, and I think you're going to play the interview, right?
Yeah, I'll play the interview.
Okay.
The discussion was, I mean, how could you collect them all? And I asked them at Star Wars Celebration, right after this was announced. This was announced at Celebration because I interviewed them at Celebration. I asked this very question, and listen to this clip.
And there's 3 different Vaders in the case. So is it random? Is it each one going to be different when you're at Comic-Con, or are there like, is there a set number? Is there an infinite number?
So someone has done the math, but there are there's only a few parameters that the manufacturing assembly has to follow. One is that the head can never match the torso color, and that no 2 limbs can exceed a single color. So it might have 2 blue legs or 2 blue arms, or 1 blue leg and 1 blue arm, but it can never have like 2 blue legs and a blue arm. So based on that, also the lightsaber itself has to be a different color from the arm that it extends from. So you can start to, make the assumption based on that and the fact that there's 6 colors that we're using.
So we had a great fan in here earlier who was like throwing out terms like permutations and combinations and all set to do the math, and I was like, God bless you, my friend. So
all right, so that's pretty simple. No restrictions on what the factory said, except here's their preview image from Celebration. Saber color can't be the same as the arm color. No more than 2 limbs of the same color. So look at this promo image. The Vader, 2 blue arms, 2 green legs. And over here, we have a Vader with a yellow head and a yellow arm. So repeated colors. This one in the package, red arm, red head. And here, in another promo image, orange arm, orange leg. So I started to do the math, and right there during the interview, I started to wonder, how many combinations are there? Now, this isn't the cleanest code I've ever written, but...
Did you guys think that you were going to computer code in today's episode of Star Wars Action News?
I did go ahead and have, the 6 colors with the 7 sabers. This was actually the harder code to write because you had your rules. You had your left arm, right arm. The torso can't match any attachment. So the torso can't be the arms. The left leg can't match the torso, and no 3 limbs the same. And then after you get all of that, you get the saber, but the saber can't match that arm. So when I did all of those computations, here's the spreadsheet that came out of it. And to preview, combination 16,000, combination 25,000.
A lot of combinations. And this
I said 64,000 when I was at the interview doing just the math in my head. I was pretty close. 54,000 combinations.
That's pretty awesome.
But that's not how it actually ended up looking, because this is the display from San Diego Comic-Con. And notice that you've got orange head, green body, yellow, blue, red, purple. And here, no two limbs are the same color. Here's the case we bought, just right out of the package.
Yeah, so let me explain to you how this was going on. So I think it was Thursday. I was able to walk up, and this was at Entertainment Earth's booth. There was no cap. And knowing that I had people that wanted it, and we kind of wanted to see what we'd get, I bought a case. They came in a case of 8. The next day, I went to get some more because freaking love them. There's Justin. We played this game where, like, we all took turns picking one, and it was kind of fun. It was like divvying up marbles or something. I don't know, something like that. But it was kind of fun. It was all like us comparing them and everything. And, okay, so I went on Friday then to get more, and it was restricted to 1. Saturday morning, it was gone. There was no more to be had. They didn't even think they had any more for Sunday morning.
So if you look here at the combinations, no two parts are the same color at all. And we all thought that was weird. I was kind of looking for one that was, primarily Army Man green. You got 2 Army Man green bodies here, and theoretically 2 limbs could also be Army Man green. I was trying to figure out, what's my favorite color, and I want the most limbs of that. And then we just looked, and we were all like, none are the same. So if that's the case, if it's different from what Hasbro told me, but no 2 limbs are the same, that code's actually a little cleaner, because then you just have to remove all duplicates. And again, I brute forced this. This isn't the cleanest. If I was doing this at work, I'd be using C# and going recursion. But here, I just did a brute force for loop in Microsoft Excel.
If you guys don't know what that means, that's okay. Neither do I.
And that means a far smaller number of combinations, 3,600 combinations. That's a lot less than 54,000 combinations. But the mystery deepens. David Pedro in the Retro Vader Trading Facebook group.
Okay, but it has a really long name. Just search for Retro Vader and you'll find it, because it has this like crazy long name about Kenner and trading and all this stuff. Just trust me.
He has determined there are only 18 combinations of figure. Now, what you have here are permutations. This is taking the colors and taking the bodies. What you have here is not a theoretical graph of permutation. What you have here is there are 18 Vaders that have been spotted, and that is all.
Yeah, so every single Vader that I had, my friends had, that we got in this 8-pack, that has been seen online, that anybody has in hand, fits into David's spreadsheet.
We asked for people to send us photos of their Vaders, and we got quite a few, including some with British price tags on them.
Yeah, those are from our friends at Fanta Tracks.
And every single figure here matches the pattern.
I thought there was one that didn't, but it turns out it was just a bad angle. The one that circled, I couldn't quite tell what the lightsaber is, but it fits in with everything else. So I'm just going to say it's part of that spreadsheet.
I mean, if you look, we have more than 18 figures photographed here.
Well, I mean,
take a look. Here's a duplicate. See, this one came in from a listener who had it in a star case on his display, and he only purchased one of them. Here's a listener who purchased 3 and has the exact same Vader. Now, theoretically, just because I said that there were 3,600 or 54,000 combinations does not mean randomness couldn't repeat.
Correct. It depends on how many they make.
Or even less than that. It's random. You know, it's like rolling a die. Just because you have a 1 in 6 chance every time you roll a die of getting a different number doesn't mean you won't roll 6s 3 times in a row.
That's correct. But there's only 18 that have been found. So that's a little weird, right?
Yeah, and I'm looking here, and I think I see another duplicate. This one here in the US, this one here in the UK, identical Vaders. So this means that currently only 18 exist, and yet here this is photos I took myself at Celebration. You got the 2 orange limbs on this Vader, you got the 2 green legs on this Vader, you got the yellow head and yellow arm on this Vader. So somewhere in Hasbro exists early samples that repeat color. Now the other question is, are these shipping again in September or October for Triple Force Friday?
Well, and there's a lot of speculation going on about when the convention exclusives hit online, if we're going to see more variations of it then. Like maybe this was the initial wave and the second batch is going to be different variations.
And again, there's so many variations they could do, but right now, if you were so inclined and felt like spending the money, here's the checklist. You could have all 18. Now, we opened one of ours, so we would have to go back and find this guy again if I wanted a full carded set of 18.
We're not going to get a full carded set. Oh God, he's making the... Okay, so if you've ever been around Arnie and see him when the wheels are turning in his head and his little CPU is like firing off, he makes this certain face and starts rubbing his chin like a megalomaniac. And so I'm guessing we're going to hunt down all 18 of these.
What I'll say is, if somebody married to me wanted to give me an amazing Christmas gift, the set of 18 could be it.
Do you have another wife?
And especially if they were in, nice figure shield cases.
Got it. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Just saying. Now, there have been some bootlegs that popped up on eBay, too, and so kind of determining whether or not it was ones from the factory. You know how the people put them in their pocket or whatever and sell them. So there are ones to be had on eBay, and it keeps going in and out of stock on Target. So, again, keep an eye on that.
But I actually do like this figure more than I thought I would.
Now, I really like it. I like the custom stuff. I like the funky stuff. But it's not usually something you like. But I think he's really pretty. It's cool. I think it's very awesome for my friends for Pride. I think it's a great Pride Vader. It's kind of got the rainbow stuff. It's not got the complete rainbow, but it's kind of cool. I like it a lot.
Okay, we got a question from David, listening here live, wondering what is being celebrated with this. Why would you want such a funky Vader? The key is this is considered, it's attempting to be an action figure prototype. So when Kenner gets the figures, if you've ever gotten into prototype collecting or looked at Gus Lopez's collection where he has a lot of prototypes, they are colorful pieces, because what's sent from the factory in China isn't final. It's just, here's the sculpt and here's the colors we had and what we molded it in. And then they obviously look at the the paint master that comes in and whatnot. This is taking the original Vader mold and trying to represent what a prototype would look like. And that's why repeated colors would certainly make sense, because it wouldn't... I mean, the fact is, there wouldn't be any restrictions when sending a prototype. This prototype, when I asked Hasbro about it at Celebration, I said, what's the prototype for the prototype Vader look like? And they said it came all black.
That's kind of ironic.
And so here, what they're trying to do is give collectors... All right, what they're really trying to do is chase Funko and chase the designer toy market. That's what they're really trying to do.
Well, not necessarily Funko, but I think more along the lines of, your Suck Lord, your DKE toys. I mean, DKE makes very limited edition customs that they have different artists that rotate. They'll do things, and they're expensive, but they do things like this. I mean, they have funkiness. And, like, you bought me the Chewbacca Porg for Christmas because I love the Porgs, and it's this great mashup. It's a giant Porg like Chewbacca. So it's the kind of fun stuff like that. It's more my style than it is Arnie's. I really like this one. It's different. It's unique. I love that it's unlike anything else Hasbro has ever done. I mean, this is like a turning point for Hasbro. And if they start doing stuff like this, that's a whole nother market they can capture.
Very cheaply.
Yes, exactly, because they own the parts. They don't have to buy them.
And they don't have to paint it.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing about the custom figures is you do pay more for them because someone has put a lot of time and labor into it to make that figure, whereas this is something that they own all the molds and everything. Just they're like, hey, make this one blue and do this part green and move it all over like that.
Well, from talking to the design manager there, it sounds to me like they told the factory, do whatever, and maybe the factory was like, we can do whatever. Let's be lazy. Let's only make this color like this or something. I don't know. We wondered if there was a case assortment next.
Well, and see, that's the thing is because I bought a case. And they came in a case of 8. So the fact that 18 exist really kind of blows my mind that they come in a case of 8 because you'd think maybe there'd be 2 different case assortments and maybe there would be 16 or something instead of 18. You know what I'm saying? So clearly then you have some that are short packed, which is now going to exacerbate the situation. But I will tell you, in all the ones that we had that we went through and all the pictures I could find of people who had them, nothing was more prominent than the other, I thought. I think it was all pretty much the same probability when we went through them. I mean, it's like we'd get to a certain point, it was like, yep, and we know which one it was. Like, I would get to the body part, and then you'd be like, right arm, left arm. I'm like, yeah, okay, we know which one this is. So, I don't know, I think it's a really cool figure, and I really am happy that Hasbro did something like this, and I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I like it a lot more once I got it in hand.
Yeah.
It's just funky and rainbowy, and it's fun, but I don't need next year at Comic-Con prototype Stormtrooper. I think Vader is the most iconic figure from Star Wars. It's fine, it's fun, but
I don't know if it'd work as well with the Stormtrooper because you don't have that black cape to offset it. Because without the black cape, it just looks like a bunch of Skittles or crayons. The black cape really sets it off. Now, I can't wait to see the first person cosplays this.
oh, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. But I really like this figure. I knew after I got excited about it and saw the packaging, I really liked it. You were on the fence, and I think you're just kind of going along with the flow, and then we opened them up, you were in love.
Now, my favorite exclusive, though, is the Luke 3-pack. I didn't expect it to be my favorite, but it's the one that I like the best out of the package.
No, that's a pretty solid 3-pack. I think they're great figures, but I really like this Retro Vader.
Now, the statement was that Hasbro didn't announce very much at the con. And again, if you watched my interview, it wasn't Hasbro's choice. Lucasfilm has given them basically a gag order until Triple Force Friday for anything. They can't talk about the new Clone Wars stuff. They can't talk about any OT stuff. They can't talk about any 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back stuff until all is said and done. But they did announce a couple of things. The new 5-inch Galaxy of Adventures line, which will have play features, but they say those play features will not disrupt the articulation. And we've got here the Chewbacca with his Wookiee roar, Darth Vader, and they're, posable, they're stylized. I think that I don't see myself collecting them, but they're kind of fun. And then Han Solo, I find this, somebody asked Hasbro about their toy box figures, and they looked a little bit confused, like, what? Toy box figures? But what these look like in style are those Disney exclusive toy box figures, the way that they're highly angular and articulated and same scale. It does feel like Hasbro is getting in onto that kind of a level of item. To me, this reminds me of the old Jedi Force figures that they used to do and things. After Galactic Heroes, or maybe it was around the same time, they had those 5-inch chunky figures that came with vehicles. You could get Luke with the X-Wing and all of that. This feels like a return to that style. The other thing they announced was the Boba Fett Black Series helmet. And if I was impressed with the X-Wing helmet, this Boba Fett appears to break all kinds of boundaries. What they said during the panel is this has the greatest number of paint applications they've done on anything except the barge. And the barge had over 8,000 paint applications. And just to try to, I know a lot of people don't know about the toy manufacturing, but every time they do a paint app, it's another step in the process, another sprayer they have to go under and mask and everything. And so each paint app costs money. That's why you don't get washes on cheap figures, or sometimes on first releases of figures, but they're able to add it to the second release, is every new color costs them money. Take a look at that. I need to see it in person, but other than the black plastic on the rangefinder, to me, this looks like a prop replica.
Absolutely. This was stunning, the work they put into it. And we watched, 45 minutes of that?
Yeah, I mean, this was the presentation.
But they did put a lot of work into it. It was a labor of love. And I think that the attention to detail that they paid on it was just unbelievable.
And the rangefinder does come down. This is, of course, obviously, Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary.
Yes.
This will be out next year.
Uh-huh.
I can't wait to see it at Toy Fair. I know Toy Fair, I'm talking almost 8 months away, but it is really one of the very first Black Series helmets to get me fully excited. I mean, when they started, I picked up the Black Hole Stormtrooper helmet, and then I picked up the regular one on clearance, and I've got a few of them around, but the Vader helmet excited me, but this one, they've got my money on a pre-order for this.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Assuming it looks as good in Toy Fair as the pictures.
Okay. I didn't expect that.
Then the only other announcement they had.
Angry Birds 2! Just kidding.
The Hyperreal Vader. You guys know I've talked about it. I get it that if you don't touch it, you don't know how good it is. It's just you got to get it in your hands and see how it moves. And
I mean, it's not rubbery. I can't describe it, but it's like, and it's very well textured, whatever plasticky, rubbery material it is. But the way it moves and the way it bends, it's like the best bend'em ever. Which I know somebody's probably clutching their pearls over that. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's got that kind of range of motion with it because of the exoskeleton.
So they announced the second one. Now, I personally expected a Stormtrooper because what goes great with a Vader but a Stormtrooper? You can pose them together. You can just have that. I don't view Hyperreal as something that you play with.
Yeah.
It's something that you pose. It's something that you display. But they decided to go battle-oriented, the second Hyperreal figure, and this wasn't a shock. That's why this doesn't feel like a release, because at Celebration, they said, well, what should the next one be? Maybe Vader needs someone to fight, ...
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody's like, okay, well, I don't know why you didn't say the words Bespin Luke, but you didn't say it. And so they announced officially the second figure is going to be Bespin Luke. And, you know?
Vader hasn't even been up for sale yet, right?
Yeah, he's shipping soon.
Oh, he's shipping, we just don't have it in hand.
Right, he went up for sale right during Toy Fair. I ordered him right during Toy Fair because Amazon had a 20% off price.
Okay.
Here, I consider it brave. Remember when the news media called Amy Schumer brave for some photo shoots?
Yeah.
The Hyperreal Vader looks like an 8-inch hot toy. And I understand. Do you need 8 inches? Is it a size that is really another figure scale worth having? But it looked so good, and it moved so good. And now this, they do say, I gotta bring attention, digital render. This is not even a photo. This is a concept, a 3D art version. Although they say this is going to ship not all that long away. So you got to think they've got to be somewhere along the sculpting and process. But this will be a soft goods body, like a hot toy. You'll have a cloth outfit over the rubber or plastic that gives you the highly articulated body. But why I say it's brave is you do humans, you got to do a face.
Yeah, this really does not look like Mark Hamill or even maybe any of his relatives whatsoever. And I'm not sure that I love how the hair is. Which I understand you don't want real hair in it because that would be just really strange. But, yeah, the hair looks weird. And the face is so wrong. It's not even funny, right?
It's like the jaw is a little bit too big.
And he's got, like, over-exaggerated eyebrows.
And
like,
cheekbones.
Yeah, like, his sagittal creole is, like, huge.
I don't know what that is.
Sorry.
Could you tell me what it is?
Like your brow bone. Sagittal keel, I'm sorry. But he's very Cro-Magnon looking, I think.
If they can pull off the likeness,
yes,
they have an amazing line.
And this does look very cartoony when you look at it. It does look like an animation. So
that's the thing that gets me, is it looks to me more like those Galaxy of Adventure figures trying to be a stylized angular face than trying to be a Hot Toys human realistic face.
Yes.
And I understand this is a third of the price of a Hot Toy and 2/3 the size of a Hot Toy. But I just think humans, there are certain lines where people only buy the armored figures in. I felt that way about the Disney Elite line for the longest time, where I thought the Stormtroopers and Phasma and everything the droids looked great in the die cast, but then you got the humans and it just wasn't so great.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta wait. I'm not gonna prejudge. I imagine it'll be Toy Fair before I get to see this in person. Maybe New York. We'll see. But I'd guess Toy Fair. But this is a wait and see for me. I like its display base.
Yeah, it's cool. But I'd like to see the real item, and I hope we do get to see it at Toy Fair or maybe a prototype at New York or something when they have their event.
Assuming they have one, we're always...
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, finally, to cap off the show for this week, one more review. We're going to go outside of the Hasbro realm and talk about Hot Toys, because there was one other San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. We were able to get it. We didn't pre-order. I was torn on, do I want it? You
get very hyped about these things, and it's like, oh my gosh, what if it becomes really cool? What if it's like the most awesome thing ever? And so you have this thing where you get conflicted.
And a bird in the hand, two in the bush, triple price on eBay.
That never works for you.
If I bought it, it would not go up in price, but I didn't, so it's going to be worth a fortune.
Absolutely. Well, luckily, Andrew is like all in on Star Wars Hot Toys, so he is going to review it for us. I was able to snag him one. I got like one of the few left on, Saturday? Yeah. And was able to get that for him. That line was crazy at that booth, but it wasn't for Star Wars. That was crazy. I don't think they had very many of these.
Well, here is Andrew with a review of that figure, and we'll be back to answer a couple listener questions after.
Hey everybody, Andrew here, and it's been a while since I have given you an unboxing and mini review of a new Hot Toys acquisition. So, since this is shortly after San Diego Comic-Con, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to do one of those videos of the Sith Trooper from San Diego Comic-Con. Now this is the exclusive to the convention. I'm sure that there will be a version of this to come out later, but this one is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive of the Sith Trooper from Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. So we're going to dive in, but first I wanted to just point out, from everything that I've read, the exclusive version, the only difference between it and the regular version is the packaging. So here is the difference on the outside, on the shipper, it says SDCC version. So that's the first clue that this is an exclusive. And then, once we open it up, we'll see another difference. And this is it. You'll see here that it's nice and bright and red, and that is exciting to me because it looks different from the normal black packaging that all of the high-end collectibles have on them. Now this red packaging is actually just a slipcover that we'll take off here, but let's take a look at it real quick. It shows here advance release, because this is coming out before the regular release for the convention. Nice glossy red, very pretty. Some information on the back as usual. Here's kind of cool, it's got little slits cut in it like what you're used to seeing for the decorations on the Death Star and other Imperial and First Order installations. That's a nice detail there. Alright, so we'll go ahead and slide that off. And we'll see our usual packaging. Here's the back of it. Nice photography as usual. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the detail in person. And of course there's the standard front. Your typical photo of the profile of the upper body there. Other than that, pretty standard packaging. There's nothing on this package that says anything about San Diego Comic-Con. It's just that slipcover and the shipper box. Alright. And the usual insert shot as well. Nice big and bold. We'll take that out. And there is the Sith Trooper in person. Nicely packaged as usual. Let's go ahead and take them out and we'll see what we've got. Lots of hands as usual. It looks like there's 5 extra hands. It comes with 2 blasters, which is nice. So you've got some variety there. Really like the way that one looks. It's a lot beefier than the standard First Order rifle. Very cool. And speaking of beefy, check out his blaster pistol. That's his pistol. It's large and in charge. It's got really cool details here with holes drilled through it, through the muzzle there. That's cool. And that folds down. Stock folds down, but don't think. Yeah, it's not like the rest of the Imperial blasters where this folds down and then back to be a stock for his shoulder. It's just that part. So I guess if it is a little front heavy, they can grab onto that front handle as well. It was a really cool blaster. I like the red. It's not candy red. It's darker. It's muted, which I like. All of the online photos made it look really, really bright. And it's a little darker than I expected, which I'm happy about. All right, here is the figure itself. All right, here he is. Again, I really like the shade of red they use. It's dark. It's not really bright. It is shiny though. Hoping that the Sith Trooper does not need to be a stealth trooper as well, as these guys will definitely stand out in a crowd. Pretty good range of motion. One of the complaints that I had with the original First Order Stormtroopers that they came out with was they were very limited in their articulation. They had the same number of articulation points, but because of the rubber undersuit that they wear, it was very tight. You couldn't really get a full range of motion, but this one looks like it's got pretty good Pretty good range of motion there. Of course, the biggest test is always the shoulders. How high up can they? Well, that's really impressive, actually. Again, typically you can't get all the way up with the First Order Stormtroopers, so that's nice. And what about the legs? That's always a sore point too. Knees are good. Hips seem to be pretty tight though. So you're not going to be able to get them in much of like a crouching, kneeling position because those hips are so tight. But you can get them in a so a pretty good, strong stance for firing his blaster. I do like the all the ridges that are sculpted into the armor. It gives it it's more interesting to look at, I guess, than just a flat, shiny surface. There are like lots of little details on the arms, which are nice. This little, I don't know what that is, flashlight maybe? I don't know, I guess maybe we'll find out when we see the movie in December. A little detail on his shoulder. Of course, the grenade canister in the back is typical of all stormtroopers. It's nice. I like it. Again, I'm really impressed with the color. I was really concerned that it was going to be super bright, but that is actually not the case, which I really appreciate. Pretty good looking figure. I'll play around with it some more and see what kind of poses I can get out of it, but overall I am very happy with it. The interesting thing will be what's going to come with the standard version. It may be that there's only one pistol or one weapon as opposed to two, but it may just be the packaging. It might be the only thing that's different. So, oh, yep, and just like the previous First Order Stormtroopers, you can attach the blaster pistol to his hip, just a simple magnetic mechanism there, which is cool. Let's look at the base before we sign off here. Pretty boring base. It's just a black plastic with a profile drawing of the Sith Trooper helmet. It does have the word Sith on it. It doesn't say the full Sith Trooper other than on the nameplate here. But it's got the new, what everybody's assuming to be the new Sith symbol. Sith insignia, so that's nice. But yeah, really kind of a boring base. I always prefer it when it's a little bit more like an environment than something that announces, hey, this is a figure on a stand. So anyway, again, great looking figure. I'm really happy with it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing these guys in action come December. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Andrew. And after that segment, I'm still like, should I have gotten it? And, I don't think it's ever a mistake to wait and see the movie.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
And the other side of that is, this will more than likely get a regular release. When I talked to the gentleman at Hot Toys, they couldn't confirm it because, again, Lucasfilm won't allow any announcements before Triple Force Friday, when the Hot Toys will go up. If it comes out in the regular line, what will be different? Will it have different accessories? Will there be something else that makes this one the exclusive? Probably a box at the very least. Time will tell. And then depending on how cool they are in the movie, do I have to have the Comic-Con exclusive, or would I be happier with the regular release?
Sometimes your life is torture.
Yeah, this is yes.
Wow.
Well, all this really means is I'm anxious to see how the Sith Trooper plays in Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we did have a question come in right before that segment, and if anyone else has some, Edward Alberto Schoenbeck Juarez asked, was there any news on Vintage Collection and what's coming?
There's your answer.
Again, Hasbro didn't have, well, there was a touch. They spent about 10 minutes discussing Dagobah Luke, which won the Fans' Choice poll for Vintage Collection for 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. And they didn't say anything else, but we do know that 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back is coming. It's going to be next year. But Lucasfilm, I don't know if you guys saw, but Bob Iger specifically blamed September's Force Friday for Episode 8 as a reason why the toy sales didn't do so well. And he said that it was too long of a lead. By the time the movie came out, people had been used to seeing those toys sit on shelves for 3 or 4 months, and so they weren't excited by the toys anymore. Lucasfilm, after the Solo movie, is very interested in tight control over all communications. And so what they told Hasbro was, you can't announce any of this. You can't announce your Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary line. You can't talk about any of it until Triple Force Friday. And what's coming out on Triple Force Friday? Well, here's the sad thing. It's all going to leak. The moment the crates ship, the moment they show up in the back room of a Walmart.
Actually, before that, as soon as someone figures out the UPC.
Yeah. Well, the UPCs are often under code names, like Hero Girl and things. But we'll see pictures. We'll have checklists of the Force Friday stuff before Triple Force Friday, but yet Lucasfilm is trying to clamp down and say you can't talk about any of it. So they were able to talk about the Black Series Luke helmet and Boba Fett helmet. They were able to talk about the hyper real Luke, but as far as Vintage Collection or Black Series, their lips were sealed. Now, what are some educated guesses? There will be Vintage Collection wave for Rise of Skywalker that will be out Triple Force Friday, and there will be 1 to 2 waves of Black Series figures that will be out on Triple Force Friday. Beyond that, your guess is as good as ours.
Yeah, I expect that things will be done a little differently, given we had so long. I mean, the movie came out in December, and we had the Triple Force Friday in September. And when is it this year?
It's in October now, so they've cut a month off of it, a third of the time. And I don't know, I spent enough on The Last Jedi. I didn't feel like my spending was down, but apparently people didn't buy as many toys for that as they did for Force Awakens.
But I think that, again, it's changing times, and people under 40, and I know that hurts, guys, but a lot of people don't like material things. And it's changing civilization, changing cultures, and we are, the us of us that are over 40, tend to like to own things, and we're going to be an albatross for our children when we die, to clean out our house.
I think the people in their 30s still collect. I think it's the 20-somethings, the millennials entering the workforce.
Yes, maybe a little bit older than that, but yeah, largely materialism and hanging on to things is not something that is it's not carrying on future generations.
Question from Eric Franks. Did Hasbro indicate if the Rise of Skywalker mainline will still be 3 3/4 inch 5 POA, or will it be 5 inch like the Galaxy of Adventures? They couldn't talk anything Rise of Skywalker. It felt like somebody had a sniper rifle aimed at their head, and if they started to say something, they'd have been assassinated on the mark. What I did get them to say was that there is no 3 3/4 inch 5 POA line. Now, that does seem to say that will the Galaxy of Adventures have Rise of Skywalker stuff in it? Makes sense if they get them out in time, but also, would they flood the market with 20 of those 5-inch figures? I think those are aimed at a much younger audience. Again, kind of like the 5 POA ones were at 3 3/4 inch, but those bridged a gap. Whereas these, I think, only collectors like Marjorie who like the aesthetic, and children and collectors who buy everything. Those are the 3 target audiences. But I think a lot less of adults will buy them. I would expect the main line to be 6-inch Black Series.
Yeah.
And in that case, there wouldn't be a Rise of Skywalker dedicated line. I also expect that they will have waves of vintage figures out at that time. Remember, they had them for the last movies, but they were Walmart exclusives. You could only get them as Black Series super articulated figures. But now that vintage is shipping regularly, I just got notice of 2 waves shipped to me from Entertainment Earth, and no, I'll never see them in stores because they'll never clear out the Snokes. But
poor Snoke. Nobody wants him.
But I do think that the main line might be the vintage collection line, which would be awesome. That's what we would be going back to. That's what we had with the older movies. I mean, it was the primary line. And so I would love to see it be the vintage collection 3 3/4, accompanied by the 6-inch.
I just hope we get back to the days of when there's movie releases and there's all kinds of weird, just random tchotchkes you get with movie releases. You know, remember last year for Infinity War, I desperately wanted something and there was nothing to be had. I wish we'd get back to that, but I don't think we ever will get back to that kind of stuff.
I'm sure we will, but the thing is, it's all going to hit Triple Force Friday. And so
but even then, there's so little of it anymore.
There's a lot, but it gets lost in the noise because everything comes at once, and then it's a flood.
Yeah.
Whereas what you're talking about trickled out. You know, you found some keychains, and you found some party cups and things like that, and then the next thing you knew, the figures arrived. With Triple Force Friday, it's all in one. Remember with Last Jedi, I got that Porg pillow at Target.
Yeah, that's true.
There was the other stuff. It's just...
I'm impatient. Okay? If I want something, I'm going to be able to go find it and buy it.
Well, our listeners won't have to be too impatient because we're going to be back 1 week from now. Same Star Wars Action News time, same Star Wars Action News channel, because Comic-Con didn't just have Hasbro. In fact, while there wasn't a ton of announcements, again, Lucas put the same gag on every company that they put on Hasbro. Certain companies were just able to say, we will be doing Rise of Skywalker stuff. But, hey, there was stuff shown from Gentle Giant, Hot Toys, Hallmark, Royal Sellinger, Arcade 1-Up, and Yadro.
Yeah, your grandmother's collectibles are ready for you in Star Wars.
So that will be next week, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, which is 8:30 Pacific. We hope you're able to join us again. Thank you for everyone who listened live.
We had a lot of fun. We like doing this live. You know, it's a little different, but it gives us a set time. We will put it out on the feed so you guys can listen to it. If you didn't get a chance to listen to it live, we will have it so you can download and listen to it while you're at work or whatever you do with it.
So we'll be back next Sunday morning. Until then, may the pegs be stocked and the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Star Wars Action News. We hope you've enjoyed the show. You can find pictures of the toys reviewed Chat with other Star Wars collectors and find hundreds of Star Wars Action News episodes at our website, swactionnews.com. This podcast is created by Star Wars fans showing their love of Star Wars. We want your feedback on Star Wars Action News. You can email us at show@swactionnews.com or post your thoughts in the Star Wars Action News forums at swactionnews.com, the most friendly forums on the web. You can also find Star Wars Action News on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. The links to our social media sites are at swactionnews.com. You can also help out our show by telling your friends to listen by posting on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or in person. We would also greatly appreciate a 5-star review written on iTunes. A link to our iTunes feed is at swactionnews.com. You can also send us your latest store reports, figure reviews, and more. Email us at MP3 or iPhone voice memo at show@swactionnews.com. All content received is subject for use on the show. Star Wars Action News is not affiliated with Lucasfilm Limited. Star Wars and all of the Star Wars universe contains is trademark and copyright Lucasfilm Limited, a subsidiary of the Walt Disney Company. All rights reserved. Star Wars Action News. Now this is podcasting.